It's 7:30, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Guilford Select Board meeting to order of January 25th. Welcome all. As chair of the Guilford Select Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and pursuant to Addendum 6 to Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92, this body is publicly authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with the temporary amendments to the open meeting law, I confirm the following. One, that we are providing public access to the meeting by video conferencing with additional access offered through telephone. We are using Google Meet for this remote meeting. All members of the Guilford Select Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, participate in this meeting by going to https://meet.google.com/NH022LKZ-ETJ. Two, that we are providing public notice of instructions for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using the telephone. And we have posted this on our Guilford Town website, guilfordvermont.net. Telephone access is achieved by calling the following number: 617-675-4444, and the PIN for that is 364-536-869-2597#. And we are also providing a mechanism to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting, please dial 603-558-0891. And we are providing ways to continue the meeting if necessary. In the event the public is unable to access this meeting, it will be continued to a time and place certain. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting are done by roll call. So let's start the meeting by taking our roll call. Zon Eastis.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Veranda Porch.
Yeah.
Rusty Marine.
Here.
Michael Becker. He was here. I don't see him anymore. Michael Becker.
He's muted. I see him over there. He's here.
Okay, he's here. Okay, thank you. And Richard Wazansky is here. Thank you very much. And I'd like to recognize, I see that we have a number of the public here. Welcome all. And just to remind you that we are governed by what we call the rules of procedure, which are on our town administrator's desks. And those rules of procedure basically dictate how the public and the select board interact with each other. And the basic premises of those rules of procedure are that we act towards one another with civility, and we raise our hands when we want to ask a question, and we don't interrupt someone who is speaking. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I do not have any, Richard.
Thank you. Anyone else? Very good. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to the minutes. I'm sure that the select board has read the minutes, and I'm looking for a motion to approve those minutes. Do I have one?
I so move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Sure.
Zon, thank you, Zon. And is there any discussion of the minutes? I would just like to add that I quite late yesterday and today made several changes to them, and they are, as far as we're concerned, and now that you've approved them, accurate. So I will take the roll call on those. Zon Eastis.
Aye.
Michael Becker. Michael, you're muted, I guess.
I think he's lost.
Oh,
Yeah.
Does anybody see Michael?
No, he dropped off.
No, okay. Rusty?
Here, yes.
Okay. Veranda?
Aye.
Richard, aye. So the motion carries to accept the minutes. Thank you very much. The highway report, Peter.
Yes, I spoke with Danny, I think it was last Thursday afternoon. While it has not been snowing, the road crew had been focused on trimming a lot of brush throughout town and repairing equipment. They've done a few trips hauling sand and obviously been plowing lots of snow. And that's kind of the extent of their work of recent.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anything else about the highway?
No, that was really all. I mean, Dan said most of their work when they're not plowing snow is cutting brush right now. He said this is the best time of year to do it. So.
All right, on to new business. The town meeting warning. I'm sure that the select board has read the warning. As you know, the warning will be included in the town report. And what we'd like to do tonight, as we do traditionally, is to have the select board approve that warning so that it appears in the town meeting report. And so I would look for a motion to have that warning accepted.
I had a question about it. Should I do it during the discussion part?
Yes, I think that
now?
would be the best part to do it during. So let's make the motion, and then if there is
Okay,
no,
well, I'll move to accept the warnings.
thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Zone. Okay, now discussion, Veranda, yes.
Yes, I wondered, I know it's not traditional to do so, but I feel as if this year in the town report, it would be important to state right up front that we encourage people to vote by mail or vote early rather than come to the Broadbrook Community Center. And I wondered how people felt about that.
Well, one thing I can say is that we did make a change in the first sentence, which said that we were meeting at the Broadbrook Range, and now it says that we are voting at the Broadbrook Range. And then I don't think we can have any, and Peter, correct me if I'm wrong about this, that we can't have any additional information in the town warning, but there is, as you know, in the town report, the select board's report, which explains it all. So there's a whole section about the Australian ballot, and and then we're putting out a postcard as well that advertises the Australian ballot and how it would work. Peter, did you want to add to that?
Oh, I just wanted to say, as Richard and I found out earlier this afternoon, the draft of the town report has been completed by the auditors, and the only remaining item they are willing to add is signatures of the select board for the warning. So unfortunately, there's nothing further we can do about that. But like Richard said, as the select board has discussed at the two previous meetings, that we do intend very soon to send out a postcard sharing all of this information with residents and encouraging them to request a ballot.
Okay.
Zon?
So so following on Veranda's point, would the postcard be the place to put in a half a sentence that Veranda's speaking about?
Yes, that's what the postcard will emphasize. It's going to do two things that we agreed on as a select board. It's going to talk about the Australian ballot process very concisely, and then it will also talk about, it will amplify the governor's executive orders in regard to the select board's recommendation from wearing masks in public places, etc.
Okay, good.
I know that Sheila, are you still there, Sheila? No, I bet she's gone.
I am.
Oh, are you there?
I am.
Oh,
Yes,
hi.
I am.
Oh, good.
Hi,
Okay.
Richard.
Hi. If you
Mr. I've got a lot of tan.
Yes, thank you.
So
Feels good.
I was pretty surprised to see that we don't have anything about the way the taxes were done this year that the Finance Advisory Committee was recommending and that the select board adopted, including messaging about the fact that this is a one-year tax thing. And I'm really disappointed to hear Peter say that the auditors will not allow even an edit to the select board report that talks about that. And so If
Well, I
there
can
is
speak to
no
that,
option,
I can speak to that, Sheila. I took the recommendation from the Finance Advisory Committee, which you basically wrote, and there was one section in there that talked about tax relief being this time being a one-time, one-off because of the situation we are with COVID. And I believe, according to Leslie, who's the graphic artist and who's really putting it together, the last word I got from her is, "I'm going to let this in." So this addition. So I think it's going to be in there, in the select board.
I think select board report. I really appreciate that because I think that needs to be on the record in the town report this year,
Right.
so that people can refer back to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, John.
Thank you. I was just wondering, there is not going to be any discussion, I guess, on the articles, but I just wanted to ask the question, are Article 10 and Article 11 going to be on the warning? Because I don't know that they have to be.
Peter's going to speak to that, but we have done an extensive investigation. Peter has particularly, and we don't have to legally do it, but our lawyer put those on because we're the select board, not the town school committee. But we have been advised by the attorney that we should have them on there. Peter can go on with this. And also we know that Putney, Dummerston, and now Brattleboro have put those on. So, and they are the other 3 towns in the collaboration with us. Peter, would you add to that, please?
Sure.
Your work?
Sure. So the select board was approached by the Unified School District, and we were asked to include the 2 articles as they are written on the warning. And as Richard noted, I did extensive research, and I personally had a number of questions based off of my understanding of state statute, as well as a number of other factors. And I spoke with the town's attorney. I also inquired with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. I also communicated directly with the school district and the school district's attorney. In the end, I don't 100% agree with the wording of the articles, but they are not illegal in any way, and it is up to the select board. It's the select board decision to put them on there, and I have recommended to the select board to do so, as has our attorney. If nothing else, because of the fact the other 3 member towns will all be voting on this, and I think that Guilford voters have a right to do so as well.
Thank you, Peter. Is there any further discussion?
Ann Ryder has her hand up.
Okay, Ann, thank you.
I think I'm not muted. I can't see where I am anymore, but
Yep.
I'm very concerned about this because, as I understand it, we don't have a town meeting per se. So there's no opportunity for discussion, persuasion, any of that. And so it's really going to be people kind of voting blind without maybe knowing what this means. It's a huge issue. I'm very distressed personally about it. I think Act 46 was a huge benefit to Guilford. I understand people's concerns about local control. I don't want to get into it now because this is not the place, but having a momentous decision like this and no forum for discussion is quite a big concern for me.
I can speak to that, Ann. And the forum for that discussion, because the select board chose to utilize Australian ballot for this year, state statute mandates that the select board have a warned and open and public informational meeting that would replace the floor discussion at town meeting day. That meeting is currently scheduled for the 25th of February at 6 p.m. It's going to happen via Zoom for people to participate. It will also be streamed live on BCTV as well as streamed live on YouTube.
And there'll also be a pre-town meeting as usual, which the Broadbrook Brain, the BBCC is sponsoring, and I'm sure that the issue will come up then. So I have no doubt that that there will be time for discussion. But as Peter said, when this first came across to us from the superintendent of the WSESU, Peter said that we have no obligation to do that, and that is correct. But our attorney has advised us to do it, and because the 3 other towns are doing it, we believe that it should be on the warning. And there will be plenty of time to discuss it in 2 forums.
And additionally, at the Select Board informational meeting on the 25th of February, I have received confirmation today that the superintendent of the school Unified School District will be present, as well as their business manager, to answer questions on this topic, because this is not a Select Board topic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I am concerned that even though we are having these public meetings and that they are available to people who want to clarify it, I think there will be plenty of people in town who won't come to those meetings, but they will nevertheless cast ballots. And so, I mean, I understand all of the pro arguments and having them there. The lawyer says so, and the other towns are doing it. But I'm still really not convinced. Well, I don't believe it's a good idea to have them on there. I don't know that I can prevent it from happening.
Okay, Sean, did you want to say something?
Yeah, yes, I would. I just received today some information that I forwarded to Peter and Richard about the financial aspect of things if this goes forward. And if it does come to fruition, it's going to be a total disaster for the Guilford school.
Sean, we were not at liberty to discuss that at the Select Board because it's a town.
I happen to be the representative from the town of Guilford to the WSESD board. And I can tell you that it would not be in the best interest of Guilford to have this article on the warning.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, let's see what the Select Board votes to do, and if the Select Board does have those articles on, then there will be time for you to present your views and the information that you emailed me earlier. That would be the time to do it, to basically advocate against voting for it. But
Richard, both Beth Bristol and then now Don McLean have both raised their hands.
okay, Beth, I saw you first.
Thank you, Richard. I just wanted to second Ann's concerns. I'm worried about communication to the townspeople as to the implication of this, and being able to access this information throughout the town. I'm worried if you all put it on the warnings and no communication follows, that folks won't realize what they're voting for potentially. And I share and understand Sean's concerns that he's brought up. And I think it's really important that that information be considered by the Select Board.
I think that's a good point. So perhaps if the Select Board votes to keep them on the warning, that we need to come up with a communication plan that we can, use both of the 2 forums that are scheduled on the 18th and the 25th, plus even more information provision.
Perhaps the postcard you've already alluded to sending out would be a good.
It sounds like it's getting to be an extensive letter, but I mean, no, we would have to, I think that because we're not having a town meeting and there isn't a forum for people to be together to discuss it, that we're going to have to really get information out there in a very concise way. And it will be, up to the voters to argue amongst themselves about whether they think that they should answer yes or no.
I'm glad to hear that you're considering sending out information. That's great.
Yes, we are definitely. Don McLean, I know that you wanted to say something.
Oh, no.
Briefly.
Without at all getting into the issue itself, which, as you correctly point out, is not the business of the Select Board anyway, the substance. I merely tuned in to support the inclusion of the article, as I would support pretty much anything that comes up, whether I agree with it or not. I mean, I think all of us have signed petitions for things that we're not sure we actually support, but we want them to come before whatever the body is that the petition is going to. So I'm really speaking up for the democratic process, and certainly don't want to wade into this actual topic. As you guys all know, I don't want to.
Thank you, John.
That's it.
Sheila? Sheila, you're on mute.
Yes, just unmuting, I know. I wanted to know what happens if it's, what recourse, when will the question be asked if not on the ballot? Is there another opportunity for a different discussion?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that the other 3 towns have put it on the ballot.
So I think that Guilford would need to know the consequences of not having that question on the ballot.
There's Rusty.
Rusty?
I just wondered, is this a binding vote, or is this an informational vote on who's in favor of it or who's against it, or?
I think it's binding.
That's very complex, Rusty. It's really, frankly, beyond the scope of this meeting.
Yeah. Okay, I think, is there anything further? I think
Anne has her hand raised, Richard.
No, I didn't see it.
Carol Schnabel.
Yeah. Carol? Carol, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. I'd like to concur with what Don said. This is the only way people have a voice. This is the system that's in place. And my understanding is if we don't do it, and if the other towns pass it, and we're needing to get involved, it would involve a special vote, which is a lot more money for the town. And so I think this is the way to start the process. And I also don't think it's the final decision. It's just the start of a process from what I understand, but I'm not 100% sure of that, but I definitely know that. Yeah.
Good point, Carol. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else? All right. I'd like to call the question then. Zon, did you want to say something before?
I just need to ask. So if the select board chooses to put these 2 onto the warning, then can we also commit, or how do we know what to commit to as far as educating the community or speaking to the community? What's the next step?
We have 2 meetings scheduled, and the superintendent and the business manager are going to be at the meeting on the 25th to answer questions. So, and we're going to heavily advertise the fact that those meetings are taking place, because there's a lot of other information about the Australian ballot that people are also, just about the Australian ballot itself that people are in the dark about the voting process this year generally. So, and then we are going to, within the next, we're going to at least start getting the draft of getting the information out within the next week about this, and about the Australian ballot, and about the 2 meetings that are coming up.
So Zon, your question kind of gets to the crux of the complexity of this topic is that these 2 articles were requested by an outside body to the select board to include, and these it's not, to be completely frank, it's not the responsibility of the select board to notify residents on these 2 topics. Can they do so? If you so choose, yes, you can. But it's really the responsibility of the school board and school district to communicate about these topics.
I see. Okay, so that was really the crux of my question is, how do we decide what's useful information? How do we decide what information to be, exactly.
Yeah, Peter, thank you for pointing that out, because it is the school establishment's responsibility to talk about these 2 articles. Yeah. Okay, very good. So I'm going to take the roll call on the adoption of the articles as you've all read them, and I'll start with Zon.
Oh God, I'd like to pass. For a moment.
You're abstaining?
I don't know enough about what I'm doing, to be honest. To accept the articles, all of the articles as they're stated. I'd have no problem until the last two. I'm sorry.
So then either, I mean, you have three options to vote for it, against it, or to abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. Rusty?
Aye.
All right. Michael?
Aye.
Miranda?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Richard? Aye. So we have 3 yeses and 2 abstentions. Is that, I think.
So the article, so yes, it passes.
It
Because that
passes.
is, yep.
Yep. Thank you very much, all. That was tough, but, and you can imagine when Peter and I got that email that we were kind of flummoxed by it, but we tried to suss out and research the way to go in regard to putting them on the town warning. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we leave this topic, Richard, I just need to make one point. So we have a minor dilemma here that actually has come up. So as we face every year, which is more complex this year because of COVID. So state law requires the select board to have physical signatures on this. And the fact is that we are within a very tight deadline to get this posted for the public. Because we only had a quorum who approved it, and one of those quorum members is out of state at the moment, we have a slight situation. So I'm not sure how we're going to tackle. So as far as Rusty and Michael, your approval, I need to implore you to, at your earliest convenience tomorrow morning, to please go to the town office and to sign this document. The earliest it could have been posted was last Thursday, and we need to legally have it posted by this Thursday.
Are you suggesting, Peter, that the select board members who have abstained don't sign it? Don't sign?
No, they can sign.
Yeah. They should sign.
We're signing that the vote happened. We're not
Right.
signing.
Yeah, they're not signing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If you feel comfortable with that, then Zahn and or Veranda, we need at least one of your we need at least 3 signatures on the warning for you to come in.
The article passed, so it's
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
can sign. And
It did, but
electricity.
Richard is not in Vermont at this time.
Right, but we do have 4 live select board members who are in the town of Guilford, and they can get to the office and sign.
Okay. Well, we need to do that as soon as possible tomorrow morning, so Penny can get this posted legally, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
What time does the office open?
7 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to the Declaration of Inclusion, which is on the agenda. I would like someone to read that for us. So this came up because, as you know, we've been talking about inclusion. We've had a number of reports and articles about what other towns are doing about making statements of inclusion. There is a model that we're looking at that the town of Pittsford passed, and we would there's several select board members who would like the select board to consider this article of conclusion. It's just a declaration, not just a declaration, but it is a declaration I think that has a lot of meaning behind it and in front of it. And so if we could read that, and the select board has to vote on whether to basically agree that we want as a select board to have this declaration as part of the town of Guilford. Does someone have it in front of him or her? Yeah, Zahn?
I'll read it, but I do have a question, if I may, please.
Sure, please.
Can I know who put this forward? I feel that Veranda and I both attempted to do this sort of thing several months ago, and we were advised that this is something that the town of Guilford could not do. And now here we are getting ready to do something like this. So I'd just like to understand a little bit about that, if I may, please. But I'm happy to read it as well.
Okay, Veranda?
Well, I received it from Sarah Coffey, who advised us that this was a resource for us to use that had been circulated around some other towns. And so I requested that we put it on the agenda. and that was accepted.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so John, would you
I
like to
don't have
read
it
it?
in front of me.
I do. I have it right here. So I'll read it as if it's Guilford. The town of Guilford condemns racism and welcomes all persons, regardless of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, gender identity or expression, age, or disability, and will protect these classes to the fullest extent of the law. As a town, we formally condemn discrimination in all its forms and commit to fair and equal treatment of everyone in our community. The town of Guilford has and will continue to be a place where individuals can live freely and express their opinions.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion, Veranda?
Yes, I would like to move that the select board adopt this as written with the town of Guilford's name in it, right?
I'll second.
Who said, was that you, Rusty?
No,
It was Michael.
Michael, thank you. Is there any further discussion? I have one thing. I didn't see sexual orientation in there, and I think that's a that it should be in there. Sex is not sexual orientation.
How about gender identity or expression? It's not the same. I understand what you
I
mean.
don't think that's the same. I don't think that's
It's not the
sexual
same.
orientation either.
Yeah. Okay, just wanting to make sure. Yeah.
So if I were to vote yes on it, I would want sexual orientation to be added to it.
So Richard, you
I
could request Veranda to amend her motion if you would like.
Yes.
Okay, I would be happy to amend the motion to include sexual orientation.
Thank you, Veranda.
And we second to that since
I'll second
Veranda has
that.
amended it.
Okay, Michael seconded it. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
I would just add, Richard, the only thing I would add is, on a positive note, a majority of these things are already included in the town personnel policy. So my personal opinion is I think this is a great idea to apply to the town as a whole.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and so my comment about that was that when we started talking about inclusivity, months ago, we started circulating documents to all of our commissions and committees to have them review their policies and procedures and try to spread the word. So this is just another step in that process.
Right, thank you, Veranda. Okay, anyone else? I shall take the roll then. Zahn,
Aye.
Veranda,
Aye.
Rusty,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Richard, aye. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Hurrah for Guilford. Okay, on to the February Select Board informational meeting. I had a thought about this. We really need to to put a lot of energy into thinking about this meeting and how we want it to be done. I have spoken to Rick Zamor, the town moderator, who is happy to moderate the meeting, but the moderator is not sort of the information person per se, and so we do need to be providing information, and we need the select board to be prepared to answer questions and to deliver information. So my suggestion here would be to form a committee that will work on this right away, and that would include the postcard. I would certainly want. And I would like the select board's opinion about whether we could put this committee together. Just two or so folks who would really sort of map out how the meeting is going to, how the meeting is going to run, who's going to say what the moderator needs to know, what kind of information the moderator needs to know, etc. So first of all, I would ask, do you think that that's a good way to handle this rather than having us to talk about these microcosmic items during this meeting? So
Yes.
I'm asking, yes, okay. Does anybody disagree? Okay, so let's form a committee. Who would like to be on that committee? Miranda, I would, and Peter.
Remember, only two people in addition, I mean, 2 select board members, and then myself, of course.
So there we go. We have it. Miranda, Richard, and Peter. Thank you. All right, and we'll get to work on that right away. And we will keep the select-
Let me just, Richard, let me just understand. So our process is to organize and then to query people, the other select board members or other community members about who wants to provide information at that meeting.
Yes, and I think what
What
another,
the committee is doing.
yes, and also setting the agenda for the
Right.
meeting, all right,
Mhm.
and the time sequence of
Okay.
it. Yeah. Yes,
So-
Beth.
I just wanted to say the Guilford School Leadership Council is also planning to provide some information and a perspective at pre-town meeting. And I'm sure that there will be members present at this informational meeting that you're putting together as well.
Great, thank you. All right, Peter, did you want to tell us something? Say something? Ask?
Yeah, well, when you're done with the discussion, there was just one additional point before I moved on the topic I wanted to state.
Well, I think that we're done with the discussion.
Okay, so I had shared with the select board as part of this topic a proposal from BCTV as far as them assisting us in our informational meeting. In speaking with Cora Trowbridge, their executive director, she would like select board confirmation that whether or not you agree or do not agree to their proposal. So if I could ask for someone to make a motion to either approve or not approve it, that's up to the select board.
I make a motion that the select board approve BCTV's help in arranging this meeting, particularly with the Zoom meeting. They're going to handle all the mechanics. They're basically going to act as a director and producer for the meeting to assure that it runs smoothly, that people know that to turn their mics off, to raise their hand, that the director will be basically basically pointing to the person who has the floor, etc. So I think it would be extremely valuable, and I'm so happy that BCTV has offered this service.
Mhm. Oh, Richard?
Yes.
Haven't they also offered to have a rehearsal for us to, didn't I read that they were going to have a rehearsal to make sure that our
Yes.
systems were in place?
Yes, I think that was in their proposal. So I motion that we accept their proposal. Is there a second? Zon, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll take the roll. Zon?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. Well, that motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, on to old business, the dog incident.
No, Richard, you skipped over the Guilford Volunteer Fire Department.
Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. Please forgive me. I put it in my notes. I feel terrible. The Guilford Volunteer. Do we need a motion for that? Do we not? Beth, would
You
like-
do. So the trustees of the fire department sent a written request to the select board requesting the capital funds that were approved at town meeting day of 2020 in accordance with the previous request that the select board had made of them, that when they wanted access to those funds. And so the select board needs to have a motion to release those funds to the trustees of the fire department.
Do I have such a motion? Miranda motions. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Zon. Is there any discussion? Beth, would you like to speak to this, or are you all set?
I'm happy to answer questions, but just as a reminder, this was to go into our capital fund. There are several items on the capital plan that this money would be used for. Also happy to answer questions, but primarily building upgrades, maintenance, new roof in the near future, those kinds of things.
Great. Any other further discussion?
Yeah, I was wondering why this isn't being brought to us. Why does it have to go through the trustees and not through us?
You mean why? Sorry, maybe not.
What's the difference between asking us for the funds as opposed to your trustees?
Yeah, so if you recall, this was that oddity at town meeting last year. There was the sum of money, and Peter, make sure I get my amount right. It's at 35,000.
It's 35,000 that was
35.
approved.
So there was a bond taken out to build the fire station for $35,000.
No, oh, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you're saying, but sorry to interrupt. So we had a bond that was $50,000 plus interest payment every year, and that interest payment changed. That was for 15 years. In April of 2020, so right after town meeting day last year, that bond was paid off. And so you can pick up from there, Beth. I think I know where you're going.
Yep. Yeah. So on the floor of town meeting last year, it was raised that those funds stay with the fire department to go towards future capital expenditures rather than going back into the general fund. And so it was approved on the floor that they go back to the fire department. Because it was on the floor and it was a little unclear how it would work, we're in the situation that we are now where the funds actually got approved in the town budget, not in the fire department budget. And so we had reached out to the select board to ask how we should handle this going forward. And the response back was, let's keep it in the town budget, and then the fire department can write a written request to receive the money. We actually had, when we submitted our fiscal year 22 budget for this upcoming vote, we had included the funds in our budget. And I think the select board had decided to take it out of our budget and leave it in yours.
That is correct.
Which will require this additional step for us to formally request the funds from you each year.
Yep. Does that answer your question, Rusty? Okay, are there any further questions or discussion? All right, we're all clear about the motion. It's a request to release the funds to the GVFD. All right. Zahn?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Nay.
Okay, Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. So we have 4 yeas and 1 nay. Thank you very much. The motion passes. Okay, on to the warrants. Miranda, are you
Oh,
doing the
yes,
warrants?
I am all set for the warrants.
Wait. Sorry, before the warrant.
The dog?
That's the old business of the dog.
Yes, thank you, Zahn.
Thank you, Don. There you go. Very good. So the dog incident, we all have a background. We have a lot of information about this. What we'd like to do, we'd like the select board to agree to set a hearing date. We don't have to do that now, but we just need agreement that and our attorney has advised us to have a hearing, a formal hearing, and invite the parties that are involved. And so what we need tonight is just agreement that we will have a hearing, and then Peter will put out a doodle poll to the select board and the parties involved to come up with a date for that hearing. So,
so two points to note is the select board does need to make a formal motion to have this dog hearing, but you can make the motion with the caveat that the date and time will be set in the future. And then the second thing is just to notify the public that we were informed by the town's attorney as well as VLCT that all dog hearings are actually private matters and they are a closed hearing. So it is only the select board and those individuals that the select board invites to attend this hearing. Generally, that is the parties that are involved, and should the select board choose to, myself and or any other town officials or employees, if they feel that's necessary.
So do I have a motion then that the select board will have a hearing, time and date to be decided at a future date, but very soon? Do I have that motion? I so motion. Miranda, would you second?
Sure.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Very good. John?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Now, John, can we go on to the warrants?
I wish you would.
Okay. I move that we pay the following items. Payroll week 1/17/20 for $12,902.02. Payroll week 1/24/20 for $6,190.28. Expense warrant number 212012 for the sum of $21,579.44 for a grand total of $40,671.74.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Don, thank you very much. Is there any discussion?
The major expenses were sand and equipment repairs.
Thank you, Veranda. Yes, Don.
Is the first week ending the double because we didn't? There wasn't a prior week approval or something, or?
No, that's because the delinquent tax collector was issued one of their quarterly payments, is what I believe it was.
I see. Okay.
So are we ready to vote? Zon?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Any communications to share with us, Peter?
No, Richard, I do not have any communications. And the action summary from your previous meeting was the select board approved the FAC, the Financial Advisory Committee's financial recommendations. The select board approved the FY22 003 and 009 budgets. And I was to consult with with the town attorney regarding new information that was received related to the aforementioned dog incident. As far as actions you have taken tonight, you approved the town meeting warning, you approved the declaration of inclusion, you approved the BCTV proposal to assist the town with our informational meeting for town meeting day. You approved the release of the volunteer fire department capital funds to the trustees, and you approved a dog hearing. And actions to be taken is that I am to schedule said dog hearing and notify the select board and officially warn that meeting.
Okay, and then other action is that we didn't talk about the formation of a committee for this, but the February 25th.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I will be in touch with you, Miranda and Peter, about a brainstorming time that we can have so that we can move quickly on that because time is running out of pay. Excellent. Now there's another motion that's hanging in the air, isn't there?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh, who was that, Michael?
Yes.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second? Don seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Don's hand is up.
Oh, Don, is your hand up? I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
This is inappropriate for me to interrupt your motion. I just wanted to remind you the pre-town meeting on the 18th, which I believe I heard Richard say was being sponsored by the BBCC. No, it's the Grange. And
oh, thank you for making the correction.
The Grange has sponsored it for many decades, but that's not important. But just reminding you that you are obviously all invited, welcome, and to somewhat extent expected at that. I'm going to attempt to be the Zoom master for that, and in fact, I'm going to go to the BBCC to do that because I have such terrible internet here. Rick will moderate. It's probably the worst idea I ever had to offer to Zoom it, and I hope it's going to work okay, admitting people and stuff. But anyway, I hope you'll attend and participate. And I think it's actually great that we ended up with 2 different informational meetings.
Yeah, I do too.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Did I miss the warrants?
Pardon me, Rusty?
Did I miss the warrants?
Yes.
I think you did. You must have fallen asleep.
I did. I think I. Oops.
They were lovely warrants, Rusty.
You missed something. You missed something, Rusty. Okay,
Sorry.
so we were on discussing whether we should adjourn or not, and I'll take did I take the roll on that?
No, you did not, Richard.
Thank you. Zon?
Aye.
Veranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
I'll remember this. Aye.
Okay. Michael?
Aye.
Richard, aye. The motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Select Board, I think that was an energetic and informative Select Board meeting.